All right, everybody. Well, hey, hope everybody is doing well this Monday evening. Happy Gobble Gobble Monday. Whereas this, I guess they officially say this is what do they call it? Takeout Monday, along with Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all that good stuff. Well, hey, welcome to the call, guys. Glad to have you guys, ladies and gentlemen, on. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. We get people that watch it live here at 7 o'clock Central Time. Obviously, it's 5 o'clock on the West Coast and 8 o'clock on the East Coast. And then, of course, internationally, we have quite a few people too. We noticed people in India and Peru and Portugal and England and actually Iraq and China were watching and watched our webinars live. So for those of you that are watching this live remotely, hey, thank you. Glad to have you. Just absolutely blown away that we have an international following on this stuff, even Australia from down under as well. So anyway, tonight's call and webinar is one you guys are going to take some notes on. I just believe it is. But you may want to hold out for a few minutes of some things. But take a second, actually go ahead and grab you a piece of paper, a notepad, something like that to write on, pen, pencil, marker, something that you can write down. All right, you may want to take a second to grab that. But while you are grabbing that, we've always got recommend for those that are new on the call. We have a variety of different people on it. We have seasoned real estate investors that focus just on notes. We have new real estate investors, new investors to the note business, and then people just like, who the hell is this jackass that I get emails from? Well, if you got an email from me, you probably connect with me on LinkedIn of some sort or across the board on different social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Google+, Vimeo, YouTube, Pinterest, a whole variety of things. So highly recommend you connect with me on a couple different platforms, especially the first two or three. We do a lot of stuff and often get quite a few laughs about some of the crazy marketing we do on a regular basis. So hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, didn't eat too much. Was kind of disappointed that the Cowboys and the Longhorns both lost this weekend, but it is what it is. I'll have some very open weekends the rest of the year. I can hold out for the Texans, I guess you could say, for those who are football fans and those that are excited about tonight's Monday night game, the Browns versus the Ravens. Boy, that's going to be a barn burner. Anyway, let's move on with it. As always, these are recorded, everybody, and we do upload them to Vimeo. So if you want to track down the recordings, it's vimeo.com/WeCloseNotes. So vimeo.com/WeCloseNotes. There's the way to get track of the recordings, the replays, in case you want to watch this and catch this again or share it with somebody else as well. Now, tonight's call is based on kind of a little bit last week's phone calls. We'll cover that in a second. But as always, we do have upcoming events. Want to give you guys, I'm excited, a big prep week this week to be in Cape Coral, Florida, next Monday through Thursday with my Note Mastermind group. I am so excited. Focus some stuff today. We got tapes coming in for that group. We got IRA investors. We got a big meetup group going on. That's going to be a fun time. We got close to 50 of my mastermind students going to show up, and a couple of us are actually going to be headed down to the Key West the following weekend as well. January 8th through 10th in Austin, Texas, we do have our first fast track training. Austin is almost sold out for those that are interested in coming and spending 3 days with me. We've got one spot left available for January's fast track training. It's 8 to 10. It's basically spending 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with me here in Austin at the We Close Notes War Room, helping you put your business together, focused on the kind of the three pillars of the note business for you. All right. January 15th and 16th is the Dallas REI Expo. We're excited about that. That's really starting to kick off some really great stuff for the year. January 22nd to the 24th, my next virtual Note Buying for Dummies workshop. If you missed out on a virtual, you definitely want to take advantage of it. We got some cool stuff starting off the first of the year, some major announcements that we're excited about. January 26th, I'm excited to be at the Lubbock area. Saw the tweets by Jeff Smith just a little bit ago. Excited to be speaking up there in Red Raider territory. I'll make sure not wear my burnt orange stuff. February 6th in Houston, Texas, is the Lifestyles Expo. That's going to be a big event, about 2,500 investors at it. If you're in the Houston market, that's definitely probably, or even anywhere in the Texas market, it's probably an event you want to go to. So I'll be posting a link out for that here before too long. Following that up, February 9th to the 21st is the Build Your Legacy Summit. Great event, matching up the likes of Aaron Young, Greg Reed, Nathan and Quincy Long, Nate Hare, myself. Oh my God, there's still Kevin May, an attorney, Scott Royal Smith. There's a variety of things going on with the Build Your Legacy Summit. Stay tuned for more information. We'll have the website up this week, maybe tomorrow. So stay tuned for an email on what's going on with that. And then February 26th to 28th is the next fast track training. There's 3 spots left available for February if you want to get on that one as well. But that's kind of the upcoming events. Any questions about those before we roll into kind of a little recap of last week's call? I see some new faces on the call, which is always nice. No questions. All right. That is fine, everybody. Cool. So let's dive into it. So on today's the Monday note. We always try to have something of quality content. Even the speakers that I have on that either, hey, like Brett Palumbo, I always try to have some valuable content it's something useful in your business. And really, I think we've had some really great phone calls or Monday notes the last 4 to 5 months. We've really tried to do some great stuff for you guys. Can I show my screen? I am showing my screen. Yeah, it's showing my screen. It should just show the Monday note on there right now. The black box. All right. So we've had some really good stuff. And one of the things I've tried to focus on as we kind of wrap through the year and going into next year is things that are going to help you guys take steps the most. They're going to help you accomplish more, because that's one of the things I love. Like, I'll give you an example. I got a great email from Linda Barnby today. Linda, you're on the call as well. Thank me for the 30-day private money training series that's rolling out. And which is funny. I got to give, well, I'm not going to say that, but I have to give Linda a good-natured ribbing. She's like, well, it was one price, and now it's up a little bit more. It's still below that. And I'm like, listen, it is what it is. You're still getting a discount and still rocking it. And I'm sure you're extremely happy, especially with the fact that I posted recently the investor questionnaire, a JV agreement, some example things. We're only through day 11 right now. What I have available over the next 2 weeks is going to blow everybody else's mind. All right. So really glad you joined it. It's, Julian, you love it. It's interesting. I guess GoToWebinar just changed up how they did their questions recently because it's got a whole new feature here. You're very helpful, Julian. That's great. I know that some people have raised capital utilizing some of the things we've done, which is great. If you didn't get a chance onto it, hey, don't worry about it. We'll offer it at a later time, but it's well worth what the price will be later on. So last week's call, we talked about starting your successful 2016 now, right? How to start it now. And we talked about how there's the 3 pillars of really the note business, okay? The 3 legs of successful note investors. They have leg one is they have strong asset manager contacts. They're not afraid to reach out to asset managers on their own. 2, they reach out to private investors, but the deals with the asset managers feed their private investors. And 3, they've got exit strategies in mind that they hope to work, or a strong business, and they actually have systems of vendors to help facilitate that. All right? We talked about that last week. If you missed it, the video is on vimeo.com/WeCloseNotes. All right? And the actual, there is a link in the description to the actual PowerPoint slide. Okay? So if you want to go through that, go through it. We talked about that last time. Now, I got a lot of people out there that were like, well, Scott, I'm not really sure where to begin because I'm not strong in all these. So I listen to your emails. I see your phone calls. I see if you're commenting on Basecamp or you've been through a virtual workshop and you've been asking questions on some of those groups. So I pay attention to what you guys are asking for or having problems with. And I see a lot of similar things. Now, I'm going to share something with you. For those of you that are on the call, what we're going to go through right now is just a little bit of what we're going to cover in the mastermind next week for those that are going to be there. So like Steve, let's see who else is going to be at the mastermind. We got a few here. Jerry Briggs, we'll see you there, buddy. We got Bill, we'll see you there. Bill Coppedge, excited for you, buddy. What else we got? Liz, we'll see you Monday. You'll enjoy this a lot too. Sam, we'll see you there. So for those of you that are actually coming, part of the mastermind that are coming, hey, Cody, how's it going, bud? I owe you a contract, Cody. Don't forget to email me that I owe you a contract on that hotel for March. Anyway, what we're going to go through here now is something that we focus on, especially the December masterminds. All right, and it's something I go through regularly. Okay, I won't say regularly, but I make sure to do it. I always review what's going on, and how I've gotten to where I've been is by implementing this on a regular basis. Implement what I'm about to discuss with you guys, because everybody's things change. Everybody's business will evolve as they go through things, and as life changes, as jobs changes, and our experience changes. So our business, where we're at right now, the first thing you have to keep in mind when we're talking about where we're going, you are where you are because of the decisions you made. You are where you are because of the decisions you made. And so I don't care if you've been through divorce or foreclosure or bankruptcy or lost a house or don't get marketing or aren't like computer savvy. That's completely fine. But those are your choices. Okay? This is a no BS zone. All right? There is no BS being played tonight. All right? So if you want to shoot me, go ahead, get your gun ready. All right? But I'm going to make sure and give you some ideas. All right? We're going to make some things happen for you to take things to the next level for you. Okay? So just put all the bullshit aside. I can't do this because of this and this and that. It's all crap. I look back now, and I have been investing in notes for over 10 years now. And I've been a full-time investor, golly, for a while. And over a decade. I've been divorced for almost 8 right now. And I look back in the year after my divorce was okay. The second year when the market tanked in late 08, things were hurting. I will just tell you that right now. Things were hurting. All right? I got rid of my houses. I was literally renting a one bedroom for $400 a month, and there were some times that were so hard I couldn't almost pay that. Well, literally, I went back and interviewed at Chase Bank, JP Morgan Chase, for a job there and walked out of there so pissed off and upset that I was giving my dreams that it really drove me to really buckle down and make things happen. And so one of the chores I did, and I do this on a regularly, is, and I'll get more into my story where I was going with that. Well, let me just cover it right now. I'm not scared to fail, everybody. I've failed on plenty of things. I sent an email a minute ago to a list that looks like it just got rejected back on a new list we pulled. I'm like, okay, we got to do this again. We got to fix this a little bit different. It just happens. Or we made some offers or some deals that didn't go through. Well, it is what it is. We move on, all right? It's by knowing what I'm going to cover next and knowing where I rank and where things happen helps me focus on what's the most important thing. And I think a lot of us get shiny object syndrome, or we don't know where to begin, where to focus on, and that's what this week's call is all about. Because for you to be successful next year, for you to maybe be able to make things happen before the year's out, you've got to know where you're at in life and in business. All right? You've got to know where you're at personally. Otherwise, you're really just adrift. You're a boat without a rudder. Okay? You're like that plastic bag in Forrest Gump. Or that, not a plastic bag. There was another movie that had it. It was, you're a feather in Forrest Gump. You're just adrift on the wind. And we don't want that. Okay? Those investors that understand their business and are focused on it and can identify their strengths and weaknesses and some of the other things are the ones that have success. And everybody here on the call, including me, have different strengths and different weaknesses. And that's quite all right. All right? So let's dive into it. So when I say you need to know your business in a SWOT, okay, I don't want you some people are probably thinking when I say SWOT, are they thinking this? SWOT. And while in today's crazy society, SWOT is pretty prevalent, no, I'm talking about this kind of SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat. That's what SWOT stands for. Not just strategic weapons and training, okay? Or somebody said the other day, strategic weapons and torture. Anyway, I got a buddy on the SWAT team. He's quite crazy, great guy. Anyway, SWOT analysis is what we're going to get into a little bit today. And this is identified in probably a different couple of things than you've seen. This is why you need your piece of paper out for you. All right? And if you're really, really ballsy, you may want to give a piece of paper, have your spouse or partner do this to you as well. Okay? That's where you'll know if you're on track, if you're really truthful to yourself on what's going on. So, breaking down SWOTs. It's basically a 4-part process. Let's first start with strengths. Okay, that's the S. And strengths provide an area to list everything done right, either individually or as an organization. This section contains both strengths within the organization and external strengths, such as client relationships. Now, I was at this mastermind 2 weeks ago, the Collective Genius Mastermind, the 16th through the 18th of November. So 2 weeks ago now. Wow, it's hard to believe. And we went through kind of an organizational structure. I was like, well, this is really good if you got a big organization. It was like a day of doing it. So the morning was good, but the second half, it was all based on huge organizations. Like, if you don't have a huge organization, it stinks. So I took what we kind of worked on and kind of focused on it for you guys tonight to help identify things. And like strengths can be, what do strengths include? Well, they can include if you've got a database. Some of you guys have a stronger database than others, like your LinkedIn connections or working relationships, or you pull databases of realtors or buyers or wholesalers. You can be strong on the phone. You're not afraid to talk on the phone. Some people are scared of the 400-pound telephone. Marketing, you may be good at marketing. Like I would agree, let's just say like one of the smartest people I know in strong strengths is Chase Thompson. He's great at marketing. I think I'm pretty good at marketing, but when I see what Chase does, I feel like, oh God, I might not. There's some things I don't know. But then I look at the collective of everybody else, and I'm like, well, I'm up in the top 5%. So I think marketing is a strength for me. Everybody's going to be different. So if I say something here and it offends you, please don't be offended, okay? There's no reason for that. Just be honest, and let's go through some of the strengths. You could have great experience, all right? Experience as a mortgage broker, experience as a realtor, as an attorney. You're a great experienced wholesaler, okay? Experienced fix and flipper. All right, nothing wrong with strengths. You could have great vendors. You've got a really good relationship with vendors. All right. I got a realtor that does an amazing job for me. I've got a property management company that does amazing for me. Strengths in your real estate business as a whole is what I'm trying to get at right now. All right. Your team. Now, your team is different than your vendors. It may be your assistant. It could be somebody you work with who takes time, your personal assistant. It could be your VAs. It could be like I'm a big proponent of tape techs. Liz Broomer out there rocking it out with the Note Investment Club. You guys do an amazing job for due diligence. All right. You could have access to funding. Maybe it's your own funding. You worked hard. You retired. Or you're got access to friends with money. That could be definitely a thing. Okay, what's going on over here? One second. Oh, okay. All right. Your next could be access to deals. You've got a direct relationship with a bank. Get a direct relationship with a hedge fund. Somebody is sending you stuff that you can take down. All right. You can know your markets really well. You know, like give you an example. I got a phone call today from a guy, Clay, in Indiana, who's like, hey, I know I've been in Indiana for years. I'm like, well, then you know your markets. Like, that's a strength that he has. Okay, Gene Chandler. Gene knows his markets in Indiana, basically from South Bend down all the way down to Indianapolis. He knows his markets. When I need something done in there, he's the first person I call. He's the first person a lot of us call for the mastermind. Okay? You can also, what's a big strength is having family support, people that support you. Maybe a spouse that works in the business, brother, family member, somebody, a good friend, somebody who supports you and is there to help. Okay? And then also time. Time can be, are you able to maximize your time? Because we are all limited with the amount of time we get to accomplish to get things done on a daily basis. Do we make use of it? I know some people whose time is a weakness. It's not a strength. Okay? So strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you thought you couldn't do. All right? So while you're jotting things down that you're good at or strengths that you have, some of those may very well be more weaknesses if you have somebody else do your thing. Okay? Like I had a buddy who was always horrible on the phone. I mean, he could talk, but he could talk. Like today, I had a guy call me today from New Jersey. He called me right before I had a phone call with somebody else. One of my investors at 4:30 called me, and the guy was rude on the phone. Well, what do you have in New York? I'm like, I don't have anything right now. Well, what do you get? And I just finally at the point where I was like, dude, I don't want to deal with you. I said, I appreciate it. I don't have time to talk to you right now. And I hung up on the guy. And probably burnt a bridge there, but the guy was just rude. He goes, I see this email you'll have. And he didn't have an Indian accent or anything like that. He was just kind of rude and abrupt. And I'm like, well, finally, I don't want to deal with that. Okay? That's a weakness of his. All right? Now, strength of mine, I think, is, hey, I'm glad to give people 15, 20 minutes on a call, talk to them, hey, then if you're going to have to do something, you need to do something. Or I'll spend plenty of time on the phone with people like who've gone to the workshops and things like that. I don't have a lot of patience for idiots, though, or for people that don't listen. Especially whenever you repeat something 3 or 4 times. It's just not one thing that I'm strong in. It's a weakness of mine. So that could be your thing. You've got patience, could be a strength, or you lack patience. All right. Strengths. Everybody has different strengths. I'd like to know what some of your guys' biggest strengths are right now. Who wants to share with me some of your biggest strengths? Okay, Julian, that's not really a strength. Congratulations on having an investor who's looking to do your deals. That's great. So your strength maybe you've built a little bit more money. Who else has got something they're working on? I mean, listen to the strength that you're doing. Persistence, Michael, that's a good strength to have. Landlording, you're good at landlording. Okay, that's good. It's got definitely a monetary value of some sort, time frame. Appraisal expertise, Bill, Bill definitely being able to appraise something there in your local market helps. I would say market expert. Tenacity, okay, Bob. I'm performing analysis. Joseph, definitely that's a strength of yours. Okay. Steve's good with numbers and analyzing. Yep, okay. All right. Detail-oriented. This is a detail-oriented. This is a weakness. Well, hang on a second. What you have to worry about detail-oriented too, Kathy, is does your details become too extreme? Like overanalyst paralysis, okay? Some level of, after 4 years, I'm not understanding what you're talking about, Vance. Yeah, exactly, Bill. I totally agree with you that. Persistence in mirror, time and deal analysis, Jerry, yeah. Help others get what they want, knowing I'll get what I want. Okay, Jeff, that's the servant. That's servant leadership, basically. It's a great philosophy to have. Coachable, all right, yeah. Listening, hearing what is not being said, Cassandra. So hearing through the bullshit, that's a huge strength, Cassandra. Leadership and analysis, Paulette, okay. Jim says an analytical and appraiser. We got several appraisers that are on here. That's kind of funny. Outgoing, not afraid to speak with folks on the phone, building relationships. Okay, Christina, yeah, great. All right. Persistent, Liz, have skills in all you outline because of my, okay, time in the industry, yeah. Now, what you also realize that sometimes your strengths, I know in you guys, your strengths that you talk about are actually sometimes a weakness for you. Sometimes you're able to, what's the word I'm doing, overanalyze something, okay? I got to know everything about something before I close on it. Like I got to get inside before I can pull the trigger. Or some of you can carry a conversation, but you got to be focused, okay? If it doesn't do any good if you can carry a conversation with somebody if you're not focused on things. So you're going to hear me talk about focus throughout tonight's call, okay? Diana's good at Excel, computer, database, phone, file. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. So that's great for strengths. Now let's focus on the opposite side of the spectrum. Weaknesses, okay? And weaknesses are aspects of your business that detract from the value you offer or place you at a competitive disadvantage. You need to embrace these areas in order to compete with the best competitor, okay? Now, you may be competing with yourself. You may be competing with other investors in a market, outside a market. If you're providing, I know some people are doing educational stuff. Joseph, you're doing some that Frank's on here. I know you guys are doing. So you've got to worry about some different things you're doing in your business, okay? So that's one of the biggest things. Now, other things that can fall on your weakness, It could be you have a lack of database. All right, you're not putting your contacts together. You're working another job, so you don't have time to put into this. You have a lack of experience. Maybe you're brand new, so you got to spend a little bit more time learning. Okay? Maybe you have no funds. All right? So maybe you're scared to talk to people. Maybe that goes hand in hand. All right? Maybe you're not comfortable on the phone. Maybe you need to know when to speak less on the phone. All right? Being more direct versus kind of being flip-floppity and falling all over the place. Maybe you don't have any sources. You don't know where to begin when trying to find sources. Okay? No market knowledge. You have a lack of team or network to work with. Maybe you have no support. Maybe you don't have a spouse to support it. Maybe you need to get a shutout check first and foremost. Okay? Maybe you have no systems. Maybe you're trying to do it all yourself because you're a lone wolf. That could be a weakness. If you've got to double check everything and be so detailed, you check it yourself, that's not having systems, because then your systems break down when you stop doing that. Maybe you don't have any computer training. It can be a weakness, but that can also become something that's an opportunity or something that can be a strength for you over time. Okay? Now, another weakness is a lot of people are lazy. Okay? They're just pure lazy. They don't want to do anything. And that's a weakness. People don't have a work ethic. I guarantee you talk to kids these days and things like that, and I'm trying to piss anybody off, but there's a lot of people like these kids just don't have work ethic. They have a sense of entitlement and they haven't earned anything. You know what I mean? That's not just like kids. It's just a lot of people are like that. So when you think about weaknesses, here's one, a great quote. My weaknesses, I wish I could come up with something. I probably have the same pause if he asked me what my strengths are. Maybe they're the same thing. And that's a quote by Al Pacino. And I put Al up there because I spent 6 hours watching The Godfather 1 and 2 last night at the movie theaters with a 6-course Italian meal. And it was a lot of fun to spend a Sunday night doing that. It's really kind of a cool experience. But it tells you a lot of it, and that's the reason I put this on here. Weaknesses are not necessarily a bad thing as long as you know them. All right? Some people talk about, oh, you need to work on your weaknesses. And I don't necessarily believe on that. I mean, you know what they are, and then you either focus on what you can fix, or you outsource them. Okay? You try to do one of the two. You can't do them all right? And I'll get to something of that in a second, all right? So let's dive into the next one. Let's talk about opportunities. And for some reason, I don't know why weaknesses threw up under there. The thing I was using has them labeled wrong, but anyway. Opportunities are factors that represent reasons your business is likely to prosper, such as being able to expand a franchise in a new city, while some may fall into your lap, such as another country opening up its markets to foreign business, whatever. All right? Opportunities can be a variety of different things. I'm nice to some people, contractors, etc. All right, Jeff, that's good to know. All right. Opportunities can include people, like Jeff said. Maybe you have the opportunity, you're in a new networking group. Like I'm excited about joining this new mastermind group that I'm joining. It's 110 really top-notch real estate investors and educators that I'm joining. So I'm really, really stoked about that because it's going to lead to opportunities in other areas. Opportunities for more business. They're looking for deals. It also could be affiliates for me. That's a great thing. I also look at opportunities, for me, are like our meetup groups that we do across the country. We barely have tapped the database of what's available with that. And we're using that to drive investors, drive buyers, not only in local markets, people that are networked in local markets with my mastermind group, but also people for us to fund deals to make things happen. Markets. Markets are definitely an opportunity. Like I'll give you an example. A year and a half ago, I wasn't investing in Indiana. We're now investing in Indiana. Another one, we are looking more into Ohio and Michigan. We really believe those are markets that are opportunities to take advantage of. Okay? I went where people, if I look back at what I did 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I went where most people didn't go, and that was Florida. And now I've come out smelling like a rose, and I made a lot of money and done really well, where other people that didn't are now looking for deals. They're now 3 years, 5 years behind the 8 ball. Okay? That market, let me go back to that. Your markets, if you have a strength of it, or you're getting to know something, opportunity can become a strength. Okay? Like one strength I believe I have is I love the South Florida market. That's why we're doing a mastermind down there. Cape Coral will know that market. Great vendors, great people down there. Love it. It's an opportunity. Okay? Started off an opportunity a few years ago, and now it's a strength. All right? Time can be an opportunity. If you this can be kind of a flip-flop. It can kind of be a catch-22. Maybe you're getting laid off, or you've been laid off, or you have all this time in the world right now. It's an opportunity. It can also be a weakness, though, if you're not structured. I see a lot of, entrepreneurs, people that I used to work with in the banking industry who try to go out on their own, and literally 6 to 12 months later, they're back working in a job because they were not diligent about their time. They had the 12 o'clock wake-up call and then the 2 o'clock happy hour, so they were getting 2 to 3 hours of work done a week. And that's not a smart thing. While the time was an opportunity for them, they wasted it. So opportunities can be wasted and turn into a weakness if you don't watch out for it. Okay? Great, Don. Glad to hear that. You may want to do more than a 1 month because literally a 1 month isn't really long. All right? If you really want to put something out, you have to build your stuff in 90 days. Okay? Maybe it's month to month. I'm not getting at where you're at financially or whatever, things like that. But that's congratulations. That's one of the first steps. Maybe you did that to get out of a weakness and not having a true office because I know you're told that. Right? Opportunities pass, Bill says. Yeah, opportunities do pass you by. Okay? Resources. Maybe you've got access to different lists, or you're part of a group. Maybe like Mike Rusica, he's got the new podcast he's doing. It's been an opportunity he's starting to do. You look at what was an opportunity for Chase and Robbie with the Note MBA podcast. That was an opportunity as of a year and a half ago, and now, or over a year ago. Yeah, a year and a month now, and that has grown into one of the top real estate podcasts out there because it's become a strength of them now. Now they've got 5,000 downloads or database of 5,000 people they can market that to. That's an opportunity that has turned into a strength. All right. Lists. You could build lists. You have if you never tapped into your LinkedIn database, that's an opportunity for you. Okay. If you don't really spend that much time on Facebook, maybe that's an opportunity because there are a lot of real estate specific Facebook groups you could tap into. Okay. Networking groups. Maybe you need to go to the local RIA. All right. John Jack, out of Chicago, he actually started a meetup group. Pitching, he actually funded one of his first deals, or got approval on funding in one of his first deals today. Closing tomorrow on it. All right. Maybe you go out to the wine club. Now, that can be an opportunity, but if you're a raging alcoholic and can't control your liquor, that's a weakness. So be honest with yourself, okay? Now, if you're going out drinking, not to network but to score, that's a weakness as well. Not a good idea. You want to have a professional. I've been in networking groups to work when other people are like, oh, I'm here to score. Yeah, that's not going to be a good thing, all right? Skis ball. A job loss we talked about earlier could be help you with your time. Or maybe you're looking to leave your job as an opportunity because you realize some of the things you focused on in the last 12 months can work. License, position. Maybe you're getting a real estate license or you've gotten that accepted, so that maybe it gives you access to REOs. Maybe it gives you a little bit added credibility because then you're going out and talking to short sale listings, whatever. A new position. Maybe you are going to a new position. You make a little bit more money and work a little bit less. All right? Don't usually see that with jobs. When people take a new position, they're often working more with more responsibility. And while it is a pay raise, it doesn't usually often work out that way. But like I give you an example, like Liz, who's on the call here. Liz does a really good job with her time. Like she's coming into roughly having a few weeks off in December, but she works really hard doing her 2.5, 3 month break in the summer. All right? And she's really put something together, and it's helping her get out of that job because she was focused enough with her opportunity at that time frame during the summer to help build things for the long term for her. Okay? Maybe you've got vendors to outsource. All right? Maybe it's people you connect with. Maybe it's an opportunity with somebody. Maybe you're reaching out to your servicing company and building a rapport with them to help them send deals to you. Okay? A lot of opportunities out there. Maybe it's new training. Maybe that was a weakness for you. Maybe I'll give Steve and Kathy Francisco. A year ago, your weakness was really the computers, but you've done well. You took a class as an opportunity on LinkedIn and Excel. I've gotten much stronger on it and much more computer literate in the last year, which is helping you, I guarantee, in multiple ways, not only just in the note business, but it's probably helping you in your real estate business as well there in San Diego. All right? There's a variety of things. I mean, like, I'll give you an example. I had a realtor contact me. He wants to go through my virtual workshop to learn notes because he's fed up of the real estate. Now, the real estate side has been a strength for him, and it's kind of working automated on a platform as he needs to. But he wants to focus more on the opportunities he sees out there because, A, he knows his market is changing, and then the fact that so many REOs are going away, he wants to be focused more as an investor versus a realtor. Okay? So he's working as an opportunity to change things up. Like with me, I looked at the online stuff as an opportunity 6 months ago. It wasn't a place I was doing a lot of. I mean, we were doing some small, like we were always doing these webinars, but I didn't really roll it out. Now what's happened the last 6 months with me personally is our virtual workshops have become a very strength for us now. It's also led to more time coming in. So I spent time learning that, developing, getting Chase to help me out with that. Now that's led to not only an opportunity for bigger things going forward, but it's also become a strength and kind of a staple in our business that's freed up time. Okay? It's also freed up less travel. It's put more time in my pocket and allowed me to be able to do more things that I want to do, which is important. Okay? Now, yes, in some opportunities, it's missed. Opportunities missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. I love this quote by Thomas Edison. All right? Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. Okay? Nobody said the note business was easy. What I will tell you it is work. If you're marketing, it takes work. It takes time to do stuff. I was on the phone with a marketing guy today, and we're rolling some new stuff out first of the year on some things, and I got pitched to buy a educational company, and I'm like, well, what's it bringing in, and how's that going to work, and how can we leverage that for what we have right now? And I try to stay very focused on just a couple of things. I try to be focused. Somebody says I'm all over the place with different things and marketing things, but I kind of have a method of my madness going forward on what we roll out and what we work to roll, all right? But a lot of you guys see opportunities, but you don't act upon them because, like, it's going to take some work, and you don't prioritize your schedule. You don't prioritize your time to take advantage of those opportunities. Somebody said, well, I don't know how I'm going to figure that out. One of my best friends, I think it's Mark Anthony Basis at Gregory, is say yes and then figure a way. Say yes and then figure a way to make it happen. And that's one of the things we focused on trying to do it. Liz Bruner says yes to the note business. She's figuring a way out to do it around her full-time schedule. Steve Stroud, you said yes to the note investment stuff, and you've gone out and closed almost a dozen notes, I think, 12 to 15, and still working full-time. And still spend time with your kids. Okay? Yeah. There's a million ways to make a million. You just got to avoid the shiny object syndrome. You got to basically be focused on some things and actually do the work. Because literally, honestly, money doesn't come free. Anything worthwhile will not come free. It will not be cheap and easy. If it's cheap and easy, everybody can do it. Nobody's going to do it. Those that want to successfully make money in whatever it is, they've got to put some work. They've got to put time in. Okay? There's no substitute for time and experience. All right? You do create your own opportunities, everybody. 08, 09, when this market was going crazy, I just started doing it, and I created my own opportunities. And thankfully, a lot of you guys have taken advantage of the same opportunities and done it faster than I did, because the fact is you created your opportunities. You saw it. You worked on systems. You took other people's opportunities. You saw where other people's weaknesses were, and you filled that in. That's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing. Okay? It came free to my ex-wife. Bill says, that's funny. Say yes and figure a way. You love that. Okay, good. Glad you like it. Mark Anthony Bates is actually my buddy that says that quite a bit. So let's talk about opportunities, though. Let's get to threats. Okay? Let's break down threats. Threats include external factors beyond your control that you could place your strategy or the business itself at risk. So anything can place yourself at risk. You have no control over these, but you may benefit by having contingency plans to address them if they should occur. So it's okay to have contingency plans in place. Okay? Give you an example. My buddy Wayne Snell. Wayne is busting his butt And the big threat to him was also an opportunity because it was kind of twofold. One, A, he had to let a lot of people go. He had 15 people and he had to let quite a few people go, so he was working more hours. It's literally 70, 80 hours a week. Nobody would have ever gotten upset with Wayne if he said, screw this, I don't have time. But he stuck to it. He started closing deals, started making money. He brought on an assistant who's now a partner helping him out with some things, and they're doing some amazing things. And then his company got sold. And, well, of course, he's got to stay on for a while to help out with it. And now at the point he's looking at like, Scott, I think I can leave here. I've done so well what I've done with my other note deals. I think I can leave by March. And that's awesome. Okay? Threats can kill you if you avoid them. Okay? Now, I'm not saying focus on them because we all have a multitude of threats. Like our threats can include licensing requirements that may happen at some point. They may say, well, you all need to get a mortgage broker's license to buy notes, which has happened in a few states. Okay? There's also requiring more license state places like Chicago or Illinois once you have a debt collector's license if you're going to officially foreclose on notes. Okay? You may have a market that's drying up. A lot of people are like that. You think about that. A lot of people, and for those that are in San Diego or Southern California, your market is drying up. It's hard to find deals that make sense. And if you have a turn in the market, a downturn, which we're going to have a bubble burst here before too long, sometime in the next 12 months, that's going to affect you. Your market could dry up like that overnight. I had a friend who was in Georgia who ran a check cashing or a payday cashing service. Overnight, or no, it wasn't a payday cash, it was a payday loan service. And I won't really say he's my friend now that I think about it. An acquaintance, I guess is a better way to put it. Overnight, the state changed its rules, and he was out of business. 23 locations out of business. Okay? In our line of work, the market could dry up. There's too many investors. It gets too expensive. Okay? You're not making enough money on things. That's a threat. My hours are getting cut. I'm used to working 30 hours of overtime, and I'm getting cut back to just 40. That's a threat. Okay? What do you do? It's also an opportunity if you do something with it at a time. But do we all do that, or we slough off? We all waste time. Okay? Maybe a divorce is threatening. Maybe it's your health. I know one of the biggest threats to me was my health. I haven't really taken good care of myself the last couple of years. I'm getting back into it, but it is a fight. Okay? The divorce can be a threatful thing because it's going to sap you of energy. And I'm saying you don't want that to happen. You need to know that your significant other, your spouse, or whoever you're with is there with you. Some of you guys are on shaky ground. Other competitions, if you don't take advantage of it, will somebody else do it? All right? I'm going to give you a strong example here. Some of you guys may know William Bonatti, and some of you may know Jay Tenenbaum. Now, Jay's a good buddy of mine, one of our strongest mastermind students, and just has become a good friend. He's like a brother. And same with William Bonatti. Has become an amazing investor and doing some great things with stuff in New York. And Jay had been doing these Wednesday workouts. He'd been doing kind of these little conference calls or little things in the office. Some of you guys that are in Orange County are familiar with that. And I've been telling him for a year, you need to film that. Jay, you've got all this history as a debt collector, debt negotiator, or debt collections. You got to do your workout Wednesdays. You've got some great stories. You just got to take advantage of this opportunity. But what happened, he let his weakness of knowing how to film it, knowing how to record it, kill the opportunity now. Now, what has happened, William's a great guy, but William doesn't have near as much stories that Jay has in his history, but William's at least filming it. He's at least creating video. And now at competition, Jay really is like, oh, shit. He's overcome now because Bonatti's gone out and taken advantage of an opportunity, and that was a threat. I told Jay, you need to do it. Somebody's going to take advantage of that idea if you don't do it. And sure enough, William Bonatti did. And kudos to William. William is doing that as an opportunity now. Jay, he's still struggling with marketing. So it's not just, sometimes your threats sometimes your weaknesses will eliminate and be a threat more so than opportunities will be. That makes sense. All right. You have vendors leaving. People are going out of business. So a servicing company, we don't no longer do foreclosures in California. Okay. You have sources going out of business. A lot of note investors relied solely on Granite to find their deals. And when Granite went out of business, they're like, well, shit, I don't have a funding source now. They call me up crying. Wah, I need deals. I need to make some money. But a lot of people focus on like one source. You can't focus on one source. That's why we harped so much about last week about how having a balanced business. You don't want a threat of your source going out of business and leaving you dried up with nothing to focus on. Okay? He who does not fear death cares not for threats. And this is from a 17th century philosopher, Pierre Corneille. And I saw that and I was like, oh, it makes sense. Like, I don't fear failure. I know that scares some of you guys. Like, oh my God, failure. I got to live in my house. And I had a conversation this weekend with somebody talking about, oh, I need to go buy a new dresser. Or I need to go buy this. I'm like, why? You're just going to store shit you don't look at. Why do we have to store shit we don't use except once a year? Just that drives me bonkers. And some of you guys are like, oh God, yes. Especially Christmas time. We pull out all the decorations. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a bah humbug. I enjoy Christmas, one of my favorite holidays. It is my favorite holiday of the year. It's just that a lot of times we get so worried about carrying the stuff with us, it drags us down and slows us down. Like I got to keep my car. Well, why? Why are you driving a $700 a month payment when you should be driving as much as $250 a month? Okay? Why are you continuing to do the same things that you've been doing and not gotten any different results? Okay? You've got to change what you're doing. You got to spend time. If you're constantly trying to get something done, but you're not changing what you're doing, but expecting different results, you're freaking crazy. Okay? You're crazy. You're insane. You let the clutter in life affect you. And you got to break out the clutter. You got to get rid of the clutter. And that kind of takes us to the next slide here, everybody. Okay? I know we've covered multiple things, and I'm about to pull up my webcam here for you and kind of jump on the dry erase board. So if you're watching this as a replay, you're not going to see what we covered beyond the slide. So you'll hear me talk about it, but you got to focus on one thing. Okay? Now we focused on a variety of strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats for you. All right? Hopefully you've taken some time to jot down what your biggest strengths, your biggest weaknesses, all right, your biggest opportunities, biggest threats. So do me a favor. I know I asked you about your biggest strengths. What are some of your biggest weaknesses, everybody? What's your biggest weakness? Okay? Is it something that deals with your time? Is it an expertise? Is it something you dislike? Interesting. Time management, focus, time. What else, everybody? Lack of database, lack of experience, okay? Overthinking risk. Oh, that's smart, Amir. Lack of expertise, fear of video. What the hell? Oh, okay. It's like procrastination, time for me, day job. Dislike calling, okay. Lack of focus, money, market knowledge, no support. Need shut up check. Need that shut up check. Not delegating, time management, lack of funds. Overthinking, procrastination. Lone wolf, do everything myself. There you go, Paulette. See, what's funny is when you know your weakness, that's the beautiful thing. Like your lack of database is easy done, everybody. Just like calling for leads, Liz. Hey, that's great. We can overcome that. Lack of focus. Well, maybe you just got to get rid of the shiny object syndromes. Okay? Delegating. You got to start delegating. For those that struggle with time, there's some things that you have to focus on, and we'll cover that in a minute here. All right? Too many projects, lack of focus. Well, we're going to get to that. All right? Okay. I want to say what somebody else just posted there. It was awesome. All right? So let's talk about your opportunities. Okay? Your weaknesses can be an opportunity. All right? And now, I'm going to throw up here your threats as well, too, because we covered that. Now, what we often find is people's strengths are often something they really enjoy doing. We often find also that biggest weakness for people are the things they dislike doing. Like nobody wants to, if you struggle with time, you don't want to sit down and time block your time. You hate doing that. Okay? Maybe you don't carry a watch. All right? I'm gonna call out Steph here. Steph's not right here right now, but her biggest weakness is time management or being on time. All right, it's one of the biggest things. Like if we're going somewhere and I'm like, okay, we're leaving at 3:30 to get there or get to the airport and pick you up. I'll be there. We need to leave by 3:45. 3:45 comes. 3:50, 3:55. That drives me bonkers. And now we got to rush to get through security and all that. I always try to be prepared. And by being prepared, by that means when I want to be early. So if something does happen, I have time to cover it. And when she runs around and she's late to run anything and then something happens, then she's even more late trying to fix something. And that drives me bonkers. I'm sure many of you can understand that. I'm sure most men probably understand that as well. But anyway, but Steph is amazing. She's much better at details and paperwork than I am. Like my strength is marketing, but one of my biggest weaknesses is paperwork. I dislike paperwork. I literally hate filling out paperwork. All right? I hate doing contracts. I hate getting the launches, and I have outsourced that more to Richmond Monroe. That's what's great about some of the things out there. There's vendors out there to help you outsource just about everything you dislike doing. Do the things you enjoy because that's often your gift. That's often the thing you're best at is often the thing you take the most amount of joy in, and that's also kind of being in your zone. The things you dislike or your biggest weaknesses are often things you're either not familiar with and you just don't have any experience, like Jeff was talking about not knowing video. It's not that hard to do. You just need somebody to kind of walk you through it. You need to build a little expertise. You're not expertise at it. It may very well be something that can be an enjoyment for you. You can actually help build your money, help build time for you on weakness versus now. Opportunities. Anybody have opportunities they want to share with? We talked about strengths and weaknesses. Opportunities will affect either one of three things. They'll actually help you build more time, they'll help improve your life, or they'll usually end up providing more money in your pocket. Stephen asked a question. I agree with your paperwork, though. Would you trust a VA with your social security number, credit card numbers, bank info, and such details for them to fill out paperwork for you? Yeah, you have to, Stephen. You definitely have to. All right? But most of the time, you're not using your social security for stuff. Credit cards are usually something that goes on, but they can fill everything out except for this credit card number. Okay? No job equals you got plenty of time. Exactly. That's an opportunity for you. Who else has an opportunity they want to share? Make better use of your time. Make better use of your time. Jerry, you have a lot of time on your hand, but you do a lot of stuff. Like over the last 6 months, the last year, how many bike rides have you taken? How many trips have you taken? How much has that led to actually bringing income in? Sometimes the things we enjoy doing the most, too, if it's not generating income for us, it's not a good thing. Right? Christina, you talk about now becoming a realtor now. Well, you were a notary, and you say you struggle. You're great on the phone, but you struggle with being focused. Becoming a realtor now you're not going to succeed at that unless you're focused. You've got to learn. Just getting a new license, while it may be great to meet with people, also is one of the most competitive real estate markets out there for realtors. All right, and I'm not raining on your parade. Please don't think that at all. All right, you just got to make use of that to make income. All right, that's one thing I know that everybody on here is looking for. Usually income or a higher return on investment. Joseph, I appreciate that, buddy. You don't have to butt kiss. All right. I appreciate that, buddy. Your biggest opportunity is not meeting me. I will tell you that right now. Your biggest opportunity is if you take action of doing something. That's what I want. If you want to really have me excited about it, go take action and see what happens. That's what I get excited about. Opportunities are there if you do something, but if you don't, they're just a waste. Okay? They're just a waste. Now, as you've jotted things down here, hopefully you've got them in kind of some sort of crosses. We've got them all jotted down, different things. I want you to look at different things on there. I want you to rank them. Take a second to rank them, like 1 being the most important, down to 4 or 5 or whatever it is, or 10. Take a few minutes, take a few seconds to do that. Okay? Focus. Well, let's do this. So you're ranking them right now. Focus on the number 1. What's your biggest strength? Okay? What's your biggest strength, and looking at what's your biggest weakness. And be honest with yourself. If your biggest strength is, A, you're great marketing, but your biggest weakness is, A, you're not making any income is, then you've got to tweak with your messages on your marketing to make it a strength that pays the bills. All right? If your biggest weakness is having time, then you need to have a strength of having systems, of having somebody you work with or joint venturing with. Okay? What's another kind of inverse relationship? If you don't have deals, get with somebody who has deals. If your biggest weakness is you don't have any knowledge, you're new to it, then your biggest strength would or biggest opportunity may be to jump on a workshop. Okay? Or talk to somebody else that's been through. Okay? One of the biggest things that we try to do with people with opportunities and weaknesses here for everybody is the no closers videos. And I guarantee all 7 or 8, we're getting ready to film another 5 here before the year is out. Steve Stratt will be one of those. Lori Davidson will be one of those. Those are there for people to hear from other people who had weaknesses, who are scared of things, and learn from other experts who've closed things now, who are awesome and are there to share. So I totally recommend you jump on Vimeo and look at the Note Closer series and look at those people. Kimberly's done an amazing job. Robbie's done an amazing job. Let me do one with Robbie, and you get Chase on there. All right? Let's see. Julian says here, strength is joy in doing the business. Okay. Weakness is having deals consistently. Opportunity is time. Threat is money. Okay. Those are all kind of commingled together, Joe. They're all directly related. Okay. If you're enjoying what you're doing, that's not really a strength. That's great, but a strength would be something more than just enjoying what you're doing. It's got to be something. Maybe you're good at wholesaling, or maybe you're good at building a list. That's something that's more tangible. Enjoying doing the business, that's great, but it's not tangible. It's not really a strength or a weakness. Okay. Having deal consistently, that's can be a threat. That's definitely a weakness. It just takes more time. Maybe you got to spend more time on marketing. Okay. Maybe you got to change your photo of you looking like you're a high school senior into something that's looks older. I guarantee that picture is hurting you more than it is helping you. I know that I'm not the only person that's told you that either about that, Julian. Take a second to take a better selfie in front of something. I love you, man. I know you're a follower. I know you're a hustler. Okay? The threat is money. All right? Threat is money, but your stubbornness may be the fact that you're not updating your marketing. Bill says the same thing, Julian. Because I will tell you this, coming from a voice of experience here, when I already have I got a short enough haircut it is, and let me pull this up here. I got my he doesn't look 18. All right, I get my haircut and it's kind of short. When I first started, before I had gray in my side 10 years ago, 2008, 2009, I go meet with asset managers and they would look at me like, "What the hell do you know? Okay, you don't know anything." And it took time, having to dress a little better. Now at the point where I've established myself, I don't have to wear suits all the time. I don't usually wear them very often. I wear a sport coat every once in a while now, but I get to the point where I've built some experience on it. So everybody's telling you look like you're in high school. So nobody's going to take you serious because you look too young, Julian. So I bet if you change your photo up and use a different photo, it would immediately help you close more deals. And what's sad, Julian, and I'm not busting your balls here, is you had somebody who's an expert in marketer, somebody you turn to I think you had him do your website too for you. And you failed to listen to what an expert told you about. Somebody who's willing to help you, you failed to listen. So maybe your biggest weakness is your stubbornness and the unwillingness to listen. Stephen Lacoste is saying the same thing about your photo. All right? You want to make things happen, then if people are there willing to give you advice and just you want to get where somebody is and somebody gives you advice, you have to take what they say and apply it because it's not there to hurt you. Look, Chase is not afraid of deals from you. I'm not afraid of you stealing deals. There's more than enough to go around. You just got to listen to what we're saying and do it. Take action. Trust me. Sometimes 30 seconds to a minute thing to do can make all the difference in the world. Because honestly, asset managers are looking at your photo like, who is this kid? He doesn't know anybody. And the kids that he knows and hangs around with have no money. Okay? Jerry, your strength is time. Weakness is taking action, procrastinate. Opportunity, time management. And then threat is focus. They're all, you got to figure out what you want to do, Jerry. You got to figure out what you want to do when you grow up, buddy. I love you, buddy. I love you, man. You've got to figure out what you want to do when you grow up. Is it to ride bikes and travel? If that's great, then do that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you really want to be an investor, you've got to do like you did before. Go out and network more. I know that's one thing you enjoy doing. You've gotten stronger. You talk more as you do it. Focus on the deals you've closed, not what you haven't. You've made some great strides in talking to investors here locally and making things happen. That's phenomenal. You just got to put deals in place to make things happen. All right? Don't procrastinate because tomorrow may not come for any of us. All right? So the biggest thing, once you focus on them and figure out what your number one problem is or what your biggest strength is, your biggest weakness, your biggest opportunity, and biggest threat is, figure out what those four key factors are and focus on those. All right? Focus on those. So I don't want to do the whole question and answer thing yet. So what I have here, I pulled my webcam up here right now. All right, it's probably going to cut off my head, but it will. Let's get closer. All right, let's see if I can't take it up here a little bit. All right, so we got a SWOT analysis here, all right? So one of the biggest things, if you got a piece of paper, all right, you're not going to be, if you've got 20 strengths and 20 weaknesses and a few threats, a few opportunities, look at your biggest threat, okay, what your number one across the board is here. All right? Now your strengths and weaknesses are a little bit different. On your weaknesses, as you number them, you may want to look at this. Number one would probably be the ones you cannot outsource. All right? Weaknesses here, this here is something that you have to do. Because everything else probably would be if you're dealing with delegating, you're dealing with due diligence. Okay? That's stuff that you can outsource a lot of times. Outsource it. All right? But focus on what you have to do. Is if you're struggling with time, learn to delegate. Okay? That's something you have to do. Now, on strengths, we all have different strengths. Okay? What's making you the most amount of money? What is going to make you the most amount of money? Because honestly, that's what's going to feed everything else. Like Diana, you say strength is database networking, weakness is experience, lack of money, education, time, schedule, and opportunity, threats being lone wolf. Well, you can't be the lone wolf. That's a threat. That's not really, that's a weakness. Being a lone wolf is a weakness. You're not really a lone wolf, Diana. You just need to go network. You're in Chicago. You've got a great group in Chicago. Go join those guys. Experience, you've got some experience. Opportunities, education, time, scheduling. Pick just one. All right? Pick just one. Opportunities, too. If you're good here on time, strength is time, and you're not making any money, obviously you need to find something here, an opportunity that's going to bring money to the table. All right. If you're making money, but your opportunities, you need more time, you need to find an opportunity that's going to help you get there. That was what my thing was. My biggest threat was my health, and I was always working. I mean, literally, I met with this mastermind group, and I literally got in front of these 110 people, and they're like, well, what do you need help with? I go, I need help with time. I need to get back with being a workaholic. And yes, I'm here at, 8:30 now on a Monday night? But I'm getting some stuff done. I was in the office by 10. I was up at the gym at 8. Left the gym at 9. Up here by like 9:30. 9:45, probably a better number. And basically been working on stuff. But literally, we drive. I'm always looking to make money, but I want it so that I get time, because time is actually more valuable to me. How can I maximize my time? All right? Okay? My threat over here was my health. What did I need, though, to avoid it? Well, I needed more time so I can work out more. So I'm not up here so late. So I don't get home and I gorge myself. Okay? If you think about business-wise, some of you guys, you need money, but your weakness is being focused. Well, those two are directly related. All right? If your opportunity is, say, to come to the mastermind, then you need to be making offers. All right? Or you need to be calling banks to make things happen. Or, Liz, if you don't like pick up the phone because you're probably late, then what you need to do is you need to go and pull a list of asset managers and email. That's your opportunity there to become a threat. All right? Questions here? Once I know what I'm talking about, I can influence and persuade just about anyone. Then learn it, Cassandra. Are you waiting to learn everything from A to Z? Are you an A to Zer? Well, you've got to know everything inside and out before you take action. If you are, that's actually a weakness. Because, not always, but are you being that with this, though? The question I have is, you know how to find asset managers because you were on one of the virtual workshops, weren't you? Okay, then why aren't you reaching out to those? Same thing with Jerry, same thing with Liz. I'm scared. I don't care if you're scared. No, Stephen, your weakness is not your website. Honestly, your weakness, no asset manager is going to go look at a website for the most part. You can have a LinkedIn profile. Stephen, I'm going to be really honest. Stephen, one of your weaknesses is you're too much of an engineer. Sometimes you just got to pick up the phone and call people or drop people an email. You can't engineer relationships. If you're scared, Cassandra, pick up the phone, call somebody. What market are you in, Cassandra? Where's home for you, Cassandra? New York. Oh my gosh. In New York, there are plenty of people to help you out. William Bonatti's in New York. Give him a phone call. Mia Shervington is there. Heck, you go visit with Val if you wanted to, or Jack Krupe. Okay? Well, Stephen, your ability to close, obviously, if you're not getting in deals, your VA is not doing a good job then. Where's your VA located? Philippines. Yeah. If your emails, those emails that I've seen from you, they're coming out from you, are way too long. Nobody's going to read that. Nobody's going to read a 2-page email. I don't mean to be rude, buddy. You got to narrow it down. Okay? So what I'm getting at, and I don't know if you guys like the fact that I know your websites or know the emails that you do. Some of you guys would probably wonder how the hell I remember all that shit. Just it is what I do. One of my strengths is I do pay attention. I have got a great memory. A weakness, I probably spend too much time with you guys. I probably spend too much time with you. Because there's time spent on that versus other things I could be doing, like working out. Less time eating. All right? I don't mean that in an ugly fashion. That's not what I'm not getting at. My goal is to help you guys succeed so you can buy assets. But if you're too busy creating the whole bridge, the thing we don't want to focus on here, everybody, is we don't have the bridge mentality here. Okay, where you want to get here, and you're here. You don't want to do half-finished bridges. So that's why you figure out your strengths, your number one strength, your number one weakness, your opportunity, and your biggest threat, and those are all you focus on right now. All you focus on. You overcome it. If you can outsource it, great, outsource it and be done with it if you can afford to. If it's something you can spend some time on and make it an expertise, great, do it. But if it's going to be something you dislike, you're never going to make it a strength for the most part, because most of you aren't going to be focused on getting that much stuff done in a timely fashion. Okay? It's not going to happen. You can lie to yourself and say you're going to spend time on it, and some of you would, but rarely any of you will. If time management is a problem, Jim Myers. Who else did time management? You probably need to get an assistant. Somebody who helps you with doing things. Like Stephen, I know your time was thing. That's why you hired VAs to help you out because you don't want to spend a lot of time, which is great on it. You just got to tweak it so it's not diarrhea of the mouth throwing up. Okay? Questions here? I don't get what you're saying, Jeff. I think it's a compliment. TBH, your success is a inspiration to me. All right? I talk about it because I want it to be a goal. All right? I do not like the way I look. I'll be honest with you. I dislike how I look a ton. I don't like, that's not me. I still think of the 225, 240-pound linebacker who was knocking people out in college. All right? And I know I've always been a big guy. If I get to 240, oh my gosh, that's some serious stuff. But that's literally part of the reason I went ahead and said, okay, what's my weakness? What keep it health? Well, it wasn't working. I still work out, but I'm not working out consistently enough to get it done. That's why I went and hired a trainer. All right? Okay? Brett was bad health, so I had to hire a trainer. So I wasn't good at my weakness of getting up on a regular basis unless I was paying for it, so I hired a trainer who's helped me now. Thomas has helped build my strength in my back and helped me get better. To the point now that, I put a goal out there, an opportunity, in April to run a 10K. I'm going to put it out there, and that's what I'm going to work for. That's going to be my goal. It's an opportunity to get to there. I'm going to use it as an opportunity over the next 4 months to make things happen. It's actually April 10th. It's on a Sunday, the Capital 10K here in Austin, Texas. What I'm getting at is that's the goal I want to be. Some of you guys are so scared of your goal, and this is normal. 6 months ago, I probably would never registered for because my knees aren't going to take my back. It's great. But my weakness is my back. I worked on it because the only person that could fix that would be me. So I worked on it. Now my back is extremely strong. It still does buckle up a little bit, but now it's allowed for me to look at an opportunity to make things happen. And I don't know if that's making sense. You can do the same thing in your business. Look at what your biggest weakness is. Your biggest weakness and focus on fixing that. Look at your biggest opportunity, and it may not be 12 things. It may be one thing. All right? It may be one thing. So you focus on it. You have a million of opportunities out there. Focus on one thing and work it. So many of us spend 30 days focused on something, we go to something else. We get the shiny object syndrome. Well, this is what I actually have to work at this. It's that great quote by Einstein, opportunities come hidden behind in overalls. So you actually have to do some work, okay? So your SWOT analysis, this is just the first. This is one thing we do with my mastermind, and I'm really excited about it. We're doing some tweaks to it for next week. But a year ago, we had 57 of my mastermind students put them on big 3M, big boards. I will put them on the wall so everybody can see everybody's weaknesses and strengths, their markets, and things like that. And so we're going to do something similar to that. And what's great is I still have everybody's copies of what they said their strengths and weaknesses are from last year. So those that are attending again, a year later, I'll be able to see what their weaknesses are and what their goals were for the year as well. So how does this help affect 2016? We'll get to that. Well, Jeff, you can get on, buddy. I'll hold you accountable for you. Joseph, yes, big goals are scary. They can be. And you break it down to daily activities to make them more acceptable, but you don't want to break it down too much because sometimes daily goals, like looking at, if you're like, honestly, it's kind of like being on a diet and weighing yourself every day. Because it's not going to happen. You may lose a half pound or a pound or put on a pound or two and it discourages you. So downward. So I believe in really 30-day goals. Okay? 30-day goals. Can you see that? Not really. Get bigger. 30-day goals. My markers are getting, maybe it's new markers in here. "30-day goals." Okay? Now, by 30-day goals, what I mean is something you accomplish in the next 30 days. All right? If you know your strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats, you know what your biggest one is, and you focus on your biggest weakness, to either outsource it or fix it, or to hire somebody to help you with it, at the worst case, it's going to lead to a lot of green in 2016. Okay? Lead to a lot of green. And so before you can look at your deals and what you want to make for this year, you got to fix it. Now, if you're making all the money in the world you want, and that's great, I'm happy with that, it's not a bad thing. But if you're not happy, literally 21 days or 30 days to a goal, literally something magical happens in 21 days. Okay? You're horrible at video. Maybe you need to take a little selfie short video every day for 21 days. Like what's going on with the 30-day private money series. I see people who are having aha moments. They're literally understanding more things about raising capital in the last 2 weeks than they have in the last 2 years. And that's a beautiful thing. You just have to implement that thing, whatever your biggest weakness is. Maybe it's outsourcing. Maybe it's hiring somebody to come on to do your social media, your website stuff. Maybe it's networking with a local investor. Hey, we'll do your due diligence if you let us come in on some deals with you. Maybe it's affiliates. Okay? I saw on Udemy, Frank Buono out of Frank's out of New Jersey or Philadelphia, I believe, Pennsylvania. Maybe it was Frank South. I think it's Philly. But I saw that he put together a little short note trading course on Udemy. I was like, oh, hey, great. And he'd sell it for $9. Started off at 19, at 9 or something like that. It's like, oh, that's good. I've been planning on putting up a video series on Udemy for some while now. Hey, he beat me to the punch on that. Am I worried about that? Not really. I'm excited that Frank is doing that because he's got an outline, he's got a video. It looks really, really nice. I'm excited for him. I know when we do it, it will be better. This is nothing against Frank. It'll drive a little competition. Having friendly competition is a good thing. Maybe you find somebody in your meetup group or in your networking group to help you with this. If you run a meetup group, maybe you need to focus on this one day in your group. Because we have so much opportunity this next year. If you don't have if you got your weaknesses are killing your opportunities or killing your strengths, you got to do something now because they're choking you and you just don't know it. You just don't know it. Like I talked about earlier, how a lot of entrepreneur buddies of mine are people that want to be entrepreneurs. They want to be self-employed, quit their job, and went into being self-employed. But they were not diligent in their time. They let literally time strangle them. They were so used to having somebody put a finger on where they're at. How many minutes for a piss break? How many long for lunch? In by 8, out by 5. They could not control their schedule. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to work more than 40 hours a week. And you have to focus on what's going to drive income to you guys. So income, for some of you guys, is a very big, important thing. Income. What are you doing to drive income? That's a weakness. You need money coming in. So do yourself a favor. Look back at what you've done in the last 30 days and figure out how many times you called asset managers or emailed your database or went to the meetup group and figure that out. And if you went and you did those things, I guarantee your deal flow is going up. If you didn't do it, your deal flow is going down, and that's why you're not making any money. You have to make things happen. And there's no magical formula to what everybody wants to make done. I just believe that if you focus on one thing, one weakness, and then go to the next weakness, you'll get things done. If you don't focus on them, your weaknesses will eventually strangle you, or you'll never get to have your opportunities appear. Our biggest opportunity that we focused on the last 6 months was going virtually. And to the point where it scared us to death to go away from having a live workshop. We're like, oh, nobody's going to show up. How do we monetize that? I'm not worried about deal. Deal flow is fine. That's completely fine. We just tweak it. We got deals coming in. We're closing the stuff. That's a good thing. Our weakness was I got tired of traveling so much. When you've been taking 40, 45 flights for 3, 4 years running straight now, you're tired of flying, tired of traveling. You enjoy traveling, don't get me wrong, but when you're going and going and going and going, yeah, not fun. So we've gone to the virtual stuff, which has helped us tremendously. Give us 2 more days, actually really 5 days in the office if we come down to it. No overhead on that, so it allowed us to take away some other things that were affecting us and focus where this next year I think is going to be our best year ever yet. Deal flow-wise, and also class-wise, because we're doing some things that we saw an opportunity with that not a lot of people are doing, and we run it. There's a $74 billion opportunity in online stuff. Maybe you are good at something you need to put down on a course. If you're good at wholesaling, maybe you need to create a little online course that brings in a little bit of money. Maybe it's the same questions you answer people 10 times a day. Maybe you need to monetize your questions, all right? If you're busy constantly doing other things, a million things, look at the 5 opportunities you have and pick one of them. What's going to be your biggest bang for your buck? I had a business partner back in 2008, and I got out of the mortgage business. I still do mortgages. We're doing short sales, fix and flips, doing some sub-2 deals, wholesaling, and some rentals. It was all over the place. And my partner came to me like, Scott, what is going to be the best moneymaker for you? If you could do, which of these are going to be the best? Because you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none of them. How many of you guys are jacks of multiple things right now, but you don't master any of them? You're burning time and resources and money at things that aren't providing any results to you. Now, if you're brand new at something, I get that it takes time. I'm not saying, but some of you guys have been doing stuff in the note business, but not doing things. You show up, but you don't do anything. So all it really does is cost you money to fly out, to spend time, to take away from your Monday night football if you want to really watch the Browns play the Ravens tonight. How many of you are scared to do something? Because honestly, you can't be killed if calling an asset manager. You're not going to get killed from sending an email out. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Next. Oh, we've done that email. Let me send another one. Next. Okay? Julian's 18-year-old picture of himself is not going to kill him. All right? He just needs to do it. It's affecting him. And that's the biggest thing. Some of you guys are trying to be realtors and wholesalers and short sale experts and fix and flippers. You can't do that. And I spent 3 days in a room with some people I really respect, other people with big real estate rental businesses, and I'm like, that's great. But I have people coming like, we're tired of being realtors. We're tired of being on the rental market. We're tired of dealing with fix and flips. It's just not, I just don't enjoy it. The market's drying up. And I was like, you got to do something different. You got to do this, this, and this. All right? You got to start calling asset managers. You got to start reaching out to banks. If you want to have results, you've got to take action. And if you've got time but no money, then you're not spending your time very well. And that's what it comes down to. Your SWOT analysis is great. Be a nice piece of paper. Mine's all scribbled out all the time. I would be interested to see what happens if you gave your spouses a SWOT analysis for them to fill out on you. And I'd be interested to know what they thought your strengths were, what they thought your weaknesses were, because I'll tell you a story in a second. What opportunities you had that you weren't doing and what your threats were. Because if you have a spouse fill it out for you, what they have available, it's interesting seeing somebody look at you through a different set of eyes. Maybe you need a friend. Maybe you need somebody in a social, a meetup group to meet with, hold yourself accountable. That's important. Okay? I'm excited about that with next week. We'll be doing hot seats with our mastermind students. Biggest strength, biggest weakness. What can we help you with? When it comes down to it, what do you need the most amount of help with? And let's get things done. And you guys can do the same thing too. All right? Now we've got some questions popping up here. Let's see what we got to say here. I have no idea what MWA stands for. All right. I'll tell you a funny story, and we'll wrap it up basically for the evening. When I was getting married back in 2001, my wedding anniversary was July 21st, 2008. My divorce date is July 7th. Oh, sorry. July 21st, 2001. Divorce is June 7th, 2008. So just under 7 years. And what was funny is, bless her heart, big heart, great girl, just too introverted and just didn't know what she wanted to be. And that led to a lot of things. When one person knows what they want to be and the other person doesn't, that's a big problem. Because you can drag somebody along for a while, but eventually what will happen is the person that doesn't know what they want to be will start feeling regret, anger, resentment towards you because they're jealous of what you have. And we were getting ready to get married, and she came back from her bachelorette party. I had a bachelor party, what we do, had fun. She went down with some girlfriends, had fun. Came back with cold feet. I was like, I don't know, Scott, we've been dating for 2.5 years, and I think our wedding was just 2 weeks out. But really, well, why don't we sit down and do this? Why don't we list likes and dislikes of each other, which was a big mistake. So I put out these likes and a few dislikes, and I look at her piece of paper, and she had all these dislikes in one like, but then she went back and scratched out what she liked about it and put it on a dislike. And I started laughing. I thought it was quite humorous. Like, what? The only thing you like about me, you actually dislike? What the heck? What is there that you like about me? She's like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm married. Probably should have gotten married anyway. But anyway, it is what it is. If somebody's telling you signals, listen to them. If you're not sleeping at night and people will tell you, your business will tell you signals, your body will tell you signals, your friend will tell you signals, the people you're around will tell you signals. If you're not making any money, your spouse at some point is going to tell you something. All right? Or your business partners are going to tell you something. Or people, if you waste people's time, they're going to avoid you like a plague. If you drink too much, they're going to avoid you like a plague. You've got to be focused on some things. And maybe it's one thing. Maybe you're brand new, you've got to focus on one opportunity and run with it. Maybe it's notes, maybe it's not. Maybe it's property management. Maybe it's going and knocking doors for people. I don't know. Everybody's is different. I hope it's notes for you because there's a lot of opportunities. So, but if you don't do it, that's fine. We're looking more at a lot of contract for deeds as well. So you get opportunity there on some stuff. Because it is ideally what we may end up buying anyway. But what I'm getting at, I guess what I'm finally getting at, and I'll get off the horse and let you guys get back to it, is figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are. Focus on the top one. Okay? If you have opportunities, we all have multiple opportunities. Pick one and run with it. Pick, run, and run with it until it's done. Then you can go back to number two. The number two is still there. But be a master. Don't be a joker. Be a master of something. Be a master of your life. Be a master of your domain. Be the master of the universe. Okay? Do something for yourself now before 2016 arrives, because it will be here. Literally, tomorrow's the day 1 of December. And I'm like, holy crap. We got a lot to do before the year's done. And it is going to be a fun year. This next year is going to be even more amazing. I look at my schedule like, holy shit, we have a lot of stuff we have to schedule. Stuff that we got to go to and things that we do. And so I look, okay, how do we make sure my schedule works out? Literally carving into, okay, we are not going anywhere this week. We're not going anywhere this next week. These time is for Scott. This time is for us to chill. And that's what you got to pull up. Sometimes you got to take priority. Some things you may want to do, they just don't make sense. I guarantee sometimes when you say no, you say yes in other ways. And some of you guys that don't have any opportunities, but you have something you're dying to do, just say yes and go do it. Find a way to do it. I know I'm being kind of oxymoronic and inversely there, back and forth, but some of you guys are working so hard, you need an opportunity. You got to find time. You have to squeeze 2 hours out of night to focus on things, or 10 hours out on the weekend to make things happen. Do it. Just do it. Those good things that you enjoy and love and find valuable can very well rewrite your story. So do it. Do it, and doing it well. All right? In the words of LL Cool J, let's see if we have any more questions before we wrap it up for the night, everybody. To utilize NLP. I use a little bit of that, Bill, some things, yeah. NWA. All right, guys. Perfect. Well, I do use NLP. I'm not taking any classes on it. I've done some reading on it, but I try to avoid just a negative. It drives me bonkers when somebody comes in negative. I hate it. I can't stand it. It just makes my skin crawl. I had a business partner for 2 years who was negative, ran more people off, more good people, ruined more relationships with people and friends because they were so negative. And yes, bad things happen, okay? But sometimes you got to just say, screw the bad things and just roll with it, because obviously sometimes a door closing is another one opening. You've heard that cliche and that whatever the saying is. Just focus on it. Focus on the positives, because something positive is always out there. If you're too negative and too pissed off at things, you may just pass you by. All right? Pass you by. So, appreciate you guys joining me tonight in Monday Night. It is recorded. It's being recorded. It'll be uploaded later this evening, but have a great week. We will do a Monday note call next Monday night. It'll be the first night of the mastermind. It will be the same time. It'll be like 8 o'clock Eastern for me out there for the mastermind. And we'll go into it, but I want you guys to focus on some homework. If you want to send your put a SWOT analysis together or put it on a piece of paper and send me a fax or fax. Scan that, send it to me. I may very well know somebody needs your help, or it could help you. We're here for everybody. So take the time, turn it in. If you want to do that, great. If you're going to be at the mastermind next week, just wait. We'll do it anyway next Monday. For the few of you, the guys that are on the call here, they're going to be there. So otherwise, we will have it on the 7th. We will not have a Monday note on the 14th. I will. We might do one on the 14th. I'll be spending the 11th and 12th in Key West and driving back on the 13th. So to Fort Lauderdale to fly out Sunday night. So we might do one Monday night. Just depends on how we feel. We may be just so slammed with deals from the mastermind. May not. So play by ear. We'll see you guys at the top. Bye.